All right, after my kind of crazy unboxing of these amazing gifts from, I can't say her name because I only know her real name, but she sent this amazing blue tiger's eye, which I've never heard of. In the light, you can actually see blue in it. It's amazing. This howlite, which I do not have. I need to look up howlite. And then this is a piece of rough fluorite. Now, I'm a very big fan of fluorite. This always stays out on my table. Right now, it's actually on my messenger cards. This particular deck, it stays on my table, and then this stays on top of it. But this is always on my table, no matter what decks I shift through. This, which was gifted to me, is always on my table. And I also have several other pieces. This is this one fluorite? I believe so. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 other pieces, smaller stones of fluorite that I routinely use in reading. So I quite love fluorite. I don't have a piece of rough. At first I thought it was maybe green calcite. Let me pull out a piece of... But as soon as I pulled this out, I knew that wasn't the case. They feel entirely different. There's an interesting waxy feel to calcite that is definitely not here. So as soon as I realized it, I knew. I could see why I was wrong, but that's what I first thought when I saw it, just because I didn't know what else it would be. But it's a piece of rough fluorite, and it's the perfect size. I love fluorite. I find it to be quite powerful. It's so beautiful. You know, it's just kind of that beautiful gorgeousness. But this is not a mild energy stone to me. This is a very strong energy stone. So I'm really thrilled to have it. Fits my hand perfectly too. So that one's staying out as well. And these are just awesome also. But anyways, I have not seen all these cards. So of course I had to look at them. Oh, and then she sent me this gorgeous totem that has hematite brecciated jasper. My raven totem is jasper, as well as black tourmaline for protection and clarity and strength. How amazing. It's a blood wolf moon. And of course my main totem is a wolf and a raven. And so my totem-like energy here is so strong and here. And then I got Mr. Edgar over here, my Mr. Points over here. I got, you know, my 3 points of clear quartz. So yeah, I just definitely feel like I've got it happening here. So thank you so much. She knows who she is. And yeah, it's just stunning. But I want to take a look at this deck because I haven't seen it. So let me zoom in a bit here, even though we lose the gorgeousness that is my totems up there, or my power, I can't say trifecta, that's only 3. My power, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now, which is 2 3s, which is very positive, you know, very strong. So this, let me get to the right, yes. So this is a deck that she sent me called the Epic Tarot. This has not been out very long. This is a low scarabeo deck, and it is done by Riccardo Minetti and Paolo Martinello. Now, Paolo Martinello does the Universal Fantasy Tarot, which I actually quite love. I did trade it or sold it. I can't remember. I think I might have traded it. I can't remember, but I just didn't find myself using it, but I loved the artwork. But that was much more, almost closer to science fiction a little bit. It's still fantasy, but very heavily gears and mechanical things, which I just didn't find myself using it. This, although there are still some gears here, seems to have more heavily fantasy-based and epic fantasy. Epic kind of mythology, I believe. I don't, because I haven't researched this to purchase it yet, although it's on my radar. I haven't read a lot about it, and I have not seen a full walkthrough of it. So that will be lovely. I like the artist card here, which I normally don't pay attention to, but on the back is a quote from Homer. Yea, and if some god shall wreck me in the wine dark deep, even so I will endure. For already have I suffered much suffered full much, and much have I toiled in perils of waves and war. Let this be added to the tale of those. So his own tale is being added to the tale, right? And that's from Homer the Odyssey. So I think that's pretty cool for an art card. We have a typical low Scarabeo deck, although I will say instead of the normal 14, we have 22 cards, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much that's going to change things. However, of course, this has the typical king and the symbols instead, but I like this because we actually have a unicorn, a griffin, a phoenix, and a dragon as the symbols for each of these suits. So each of the suits has those for the court cards, different ones, but they're all, you know, all the queens are phoenixes, all the kings are dragons, all of the knights are phoenixes, and all of the knaves are unicorns. So I think that is pretty cool. But there is sort of there is a structure to this deck that we need to pay attention to. This heavily focuses on the hero's journey, but it says here, imagine a fantasy world where there are 3 gods, knowledge, creativity, and war, and 3 goddesses, magic, receptivity, and love. Each of these gods and goddesses manifest in a different form, or put another way, show us a different facet of their being in the 3 planes: material, intellectual, and spiritual. Magic is about the mystery of what can't be known by the conscious mind, what can't be controlled, held, possessed, defined, or explained. Knowledge is about understanding, explaining, defining, labeling, discovering, controlling. Receptivity is about listening, receiving, accepting, adjusting, and remembering. Creativity is about speaking, giving, making, forcing, and creating. Love is about eros, feelings, relationships, embracing, sexuality, and letting go. And war is about Thanatos, which is the goddess of death. I had a World of Warcraft character named Thanatos. I had to adjust it, I think, a little bit for spelling. Lack of feeling, violence, conflict, power, ego, and focused identity. There is a final deity in the world called the Seeker, is the odd one, the one that doesn't fit into these relationships. This is a deity that has no shape, no focus, except that it's different from the others, and it's looking for something more, something outside, something forgotten or not yet discovered. So we have the Seeker as the magician, the wheel, and the devil. Magic shows up for the high priestess, the hanged man, and the star, and so on. It breaks it down. We'll see when we actually start to pull the cards if we can get an idea about that. In the minors, we have chalices for cups, obviously, pentacles for matter, and swords for reasons, and wands with energy. The knave is the unicorn for potentiality and purity. Knight is the griffin for power and action. The queen is the phoenix for freedom and rebirth. And the king is the dragon for dominance, rule, and stability. So I think that is amazing. It says, for those interested in an advanced study of this deck, note that each numbered card meaning is the combination of the 3 elements. This is unusual, as most decks, these cards are said to be in combination of the number plus the suit. In the Epic Tarot, these cards are a combination of the number, the suit, and the invisible court aspect. So it says that the sequence is always the same. It's Griffin, Phoenix, Dragon, Unicorn. The sequence starts with the card 2, not the ace, and repeats twice before ending with the 9. So in the chalices, it begins with the Griffin. Pentacles start with the Dragon. The wand starts with the Unicorn, and the sword starts with the Phoenix. So we'll look into that a little bit more. It talks about the spread of the epic tale of your life, which we will certainly be doing. So it gives you for the actual cards. For example, we have the magician. What shows us, this is the material realm, and it first gives us these, and then it gives us the cards for the intellectual realm, and then for the spiritual realm. So it breaks down the major arcana like that. And so we also have the name, traditional name, plus the name in which they've changed it to. So for example, the magician is the child of mankind. Take your innate gifts and curiosity and leave behind pure instinct. Develop and practice the qualities that define your humanity. Use them to create reality. And so let's just get into these and see what we think about these, you know, how it relates to, I guess, regular tarot and things of that nature. Okay, so here we have our Fool card. I just love this because there's some interesting things going on here. We have him eating the apple with a snake around his wrist. So you have that idea that he's eating from the fruit of the tree of, you know, knowledge of good and evil. It says you can't learn or experience new things if you're already full. And so that's quite interesting. Things are tasks we are charged with in order to become good citizens in our materials. So this is material world. He's going to start on this journey. I don't know what all this is on his back. Is that his hat? I'm not entirely sure of what all this kind of stuff that almost looks like a scorpion back here. So whether this is like the monkey on the back he needs to get rid of, I'm not sure, but it says you need to begin by shedding all. We shall see. He's carrying everything he needs on his head, which is quite powerful there. Child of mankind. It says take your gifts and curiosity and leave behind pure instinct. He's very decisive. He is moving off onto this journey quite decisively. He's got everything I'm assuming he needs on his head. I like the white lion here and the white you know, stag that's here. That's quite interesting as well. When we move to the Keeper of Mysteries, this one threw me off when I opened it because I first saw this and I thought this is amazing, and then I thought that she had gotten one of her legs removed, but it is actually a book, which is a seeping red, you know, energy. So definitely a lot of powerful energy going on here. She is the Keeper of the Mysteries. It says books and knowledge point to the doors of mystery. I know I'm not going to read it all. I'm just going to give you what they name the card. So this is the Mother of Hope. We have a swan here and what looks more to be like a pelican or a stork here. I will say that it doesn't really talk about the symbology that's there. It gives you sort of a message. You've been given a gift, great honor, receive this gift with your whole being, allow yourself to fill you with hope, this kind of thing. But it doesn't go into, you know, why is there a swan here with the little swanlings. What are those called? They're not ducklings. There's a name for baby swans. Can't remember. This looks more like a storkish kind of thing, or a heron perhaps. We have all the butterflies. So the guide, the little white book, obviously it's a little white book. It's not going to go into that kind of thing. But just as a pure empress, I think it certainly works. Here we have the Emperor, who is the father of fire. See, I really wish it would kind of, because look at his chair that he's on. It's got sort of like this insect kind of, again, kind of scorpion. And he's got definitely more of a lion face to him. So we definitely have him as receiving the gift of fire, life, will. This is going to help us eat well, see in the dark, create safety, which is what the Emperor does. Here we have the Hierophant, which they call the Saint Without Guilt. Look at these things here, these kind of tree dryads over here. It says to remember that you carry within you a spark of the divine. You are created to remember, to reconnect to that which connects us all. That's pretty neat. Okay, here we have the Lover's card. This is certainly, they call it the Divine Lover. Love as often as you can and in as many ways as possible. Love deeply, fully, and completely. Love is the human manifestation of divine connection in the material world. Interesting. I have to say that the Chariot also in the Universal Fantasy Tarot was quite interesting also. We have the black and the white represented here by people. It looks to be probably a male and a female as well. So we have, you know, both, you know, those two different energies, but they're not, you know, always pulling in the same direction. So we have this sort of truth almost here, and that very resolutely standing and needing to kind of drive both aspects of your energy forward. Ooh, look at this. Now, this is the Eternal Soldier in this deck. I would say this relates to strength because we do see the kind of animal in the mirror almost inside of this particular person, and you can see his flowing hair. This artist definitely has lots of flowing fabric and flowing hair in, but just beautifully done. Oh yes, no, sorry, this is the Eternal Soldier. Here's the Eternal Soldier. This is Strength card. This is the Shield Tamer. But you can see that the animal within, that's really awesome. Oh, look at this. I like this one. So for the Hermit, they have the Sacred Beggar. I mean, how awesome is that? Now, with the, I should say, with the Strength card, we shift to the intellectual realm. So these are in the material. This is working, you know, the Magician pulls from the spirit into the physical world. So we have more of, in this deck, these are heavily based on sort of the material world, where with the Strength card, we shift to the intellectual world. Here we have the, I just love this Sacred Beggar. Love that. The wheel they have as the returning. Look at that wheel, the going in and the going out. Wow. That's gorgeous. That's beautiful. Here we have Justice as the guardian of order. Very justice looking, right? We have the scales. We've got the sword of truth. I like curved swords of truth, to be honest. It's like it cuts outwardly and inwardly for me. But that's stunning. The Hanged Man is the Lady of Visions. Drinking deeply from the mysteries of life helps to connect us to the divine. Look at the snake. It's transformational. Love the purple tones in it. Love it. Ooh. This is the Child of Tears for death. Look, he's kind of crying tears. We have dead people here. A battle, it looks definitely like a battlefield, and a beautiful sort of like cougar is walking beside him. We mourn the loss of life, of changes in our world. Death is part of the life cycle. Tears are how we measure the loss and remember the cost of separation. Very powerful. Look at that. The Waiting Princess. We find solace. We connect to our center by focusing on the one truth we can cling to, no matter how small. Look at that. Here we have the Devil as the chained demon. When we lock up parts of ourselves, their natures transform to something wild and hungry and dangerous. Instead, free yourself and allow your parts to grow in a loved and healthy way as they were meant to be. Ah, that's interesting. The things that we are blocking and changing and chaining up inside of ourselves are what's going to turn into this if we don't free it. That's interesting. Like that. Here we have the Tower. It says the Devouring Thunder. So you can definitely, he's got kind of the, if you can definitely tell this artist is the same artist, although the science fiction-y parts have been toned down. Oh, look at that. Wow, is that a gorgeous star card? Glimpse of the divine. The divine is all around us in the world and in others. Look with eyes to see, with a heart to love, and with a mind of compassion, and you will see the divine. Look at that. See, we're seeing her and thinking we're seeing the divine. She's seeing this flower and seeing the divine. Gorgeous. Ooh, this is different, isn't it? Here's the moon, and it's called the Maiden Behind the Mirror. You think that you're looking at reality, but it is your own projections. Look around the mirror, leaving your experience behind, and you will discover a different reality. Wow. Ooh, these are gorgeous. The sun is the Prince of Light. Now, you know how I feel about sun cards. This is about perfect for me. It's a big sun, no face in it. There's a strong man made out of gold. Steadfast, receiving the light, confident in himself. That's gorgeous. Ooh, look at Judgment. The angel of destiny. We all hear the music of the spheres in our souls. It may be the same song, but we sing our unique part. Listen for your unique melody or chorus and sing it with gusto. I like this. Look at how different we have this family here, people here versus the traditional justice cards. And then here we have, or judgment, I'm sorry. Here we have the Queen of the Heavenly Star. Once you have found all your lost parts, released all that hides your divine spark, and embraced the magic song of life, you will be allowed to climb the stairway to the next phase of the journey. So, we have here, let's see, we have this, well, let's just go. We have this journey of going off. He's still on the road, right? Learning those kind of hidden knowledges, embracing and creating, bringing order. This one was talking about the saint without guilt. This is when you first start to realize that you've got a spark of the divine in you, and to kind of nourish that. We have the connection with that divine spark here. We have that mastering, right, with the Chariot. Protecting yourself, moving confidently. We have the shield tamer here. This is be a compassionate reflection, it says. So now you're starting to reflect that truth outwardly to other people. By, if you've got it healed within you, then you can start to reflect that out. We have the sacred beggar that is then again moving out into the world. And so your actions and your intentions are going into the world. We have the cycles of that, the coming in, the going out, all the cycles that are going on, coming to the understanding of the laws of neutrality, that sort of kind of cutting through emotions and seeing things as they are. Then we get the divine perception. First we see it through the light of knowledge, and then we see it through the light of perception and sort of the divine sense of things, the other perceptions, the deeper perceptions. We come to terms with death and the loss, but through that death we hold on to what is going to make us strong, what we can stay connected to, and then we have to do the work to unchain the parts of ourselves that we've chained, which is going to be destabilizing when we do that. But once it stabilizes, we're back to hope and seeing the divine in everything, getting around our perceptions of seeing into the things behind that, being strong in our, strong and strengthened in that because of all this work that we've done. We're now strong, and then moving into the judgment, where we're going to sing our own song, and that brings us to this kind of sense of completion, where we're going to then move into the next step. So you can really see this kind of journey that's going on here in a really beautiful way. They do a wonderful job at that, I think. So that is the major arcana. Now let's zoom out a bit. And I do quite like, although I'm not a fan of lots of different borders, because here we've got a border and here we've got a border, but I like that here is the cups and we have this border around it. Almost looks like snow, but I quite like it. We have the green borders in the Pentacles. We have the golden borders in the Wands. These are obviously like a light blue, although they look quite whitish. This is the Swords. This I would have maybe liked to have been a little bit more blue, but that's nitpicking. And then here we have the swords. So as you can see, we have the chalices. We have kind of an orb going on here with the pentacles, or let's see what they call them. Chalices, spheres, books, and swords. So excited about a whole suit of books. How awesome is that? So yeah, I quite like, and we can see here, typical low Scarabeo. For the majors, we simply have the number, which I like. I quite like how they're doing these. It's so uncluttered with any kind of names. And then if you choose to see these just as their typical names, you can do that without needing to know the new names. Although I think that this is such an interesting journey, it would have been nice to have the new titles here. But this, I think, keeps it so you don't have to lock into that if you don't want to. And so then we have the numbers above and the suit. So here's a sword, a book, a sphere, and a chalice below. And then with the court cards, which are all the same. So all of the knaves are unicorns, and we can see the unicorn head. Griffin insignia for the knights, the phoenix for the queens, and the dragons for the kings. So how awesome is that? Yeah, I'm excited about that for sure. Okay, so here we have the chalices. Here we have the chalice recognized. The chalice is shared now. And then we have the chalice that binds. So this is kind of binding. Your focus is stronger because you're sharing, and it's binding those three together. We have the chalice that is lost, which is interesting. I don't think of losing with the fours, but you know. The chalice is now empty in the fives. In the six, the chalice is claimed. When those who love pull in different directions, the space between them becomes taut. Pressure builds, stress weakens the whole. This is normal, and a healthy relationship will seek and find equilibrium. That's quite interesting. So you can see the push and the pull there. I really like this. See, I was paying too much attention to the structure of it, so I didn't get a chance to pay attention to it. So let's go back real quick. I know I got too caught up in this. So here, but it does tell a story though. So here we have two people that are combined. When we add the three, we become a focus of our power, and you can see that kind of coming up from the chalice there. And then we have, let's see what they say about this. Love putrefies if kept in the dark for too long. If you hold too tightly to something, it kills. So we have that idea of the stagnation of the number 4 if it's that too long. And Nina did tell me something interesting when we were chatting today. That I think it was Crowley in the Thoth deck explains that the reason that the 4 of Cups is more about stagnation, more the shadow side of the number 4, is because, you know, water, if you have water and it's not moving, it's going to stagnate. You know, water is a moving, flowing energy, and so when you have it still and too stabilized, that's going to cause decay and stagnation. So I thought that was quite interesting how she shared that. And then we have the 5, of course, we have the loss here, and he looks sorrowful. Yep. And then the 6th, we have that tension, that push-pull tension and needing to find equilibrium again. We have 7, we have the chalice dreamt. So that's interesting. And then the chalice, preserved in the 8 of Cups. Sometimes to love best means to leave, to do what is needed to preserve that which gives life meaning. He's got to leave off to war, it looks more like. The 9 of chalices is providing. We have obviously a soldier, and so that is giving him the life-giving fluids that he needs. And then we have the fulfilled chalice, where we've got, you know, obviously the abundance, we have the children, we have the phoenix, the dragon, the griffin, Griffith and the Griffin and the unicorn. So we have the court all in play, and we have the children happy and contented. It's a world that's in balance. And so here we have that unicorn there. I wonder if we're going to see this in all the 10s. So here we have the unicorn here, the gorgeous griffin for the knight. We have the queen as a beautiful phoenix, and this very strong king here in a dragon form. I love that the court cards are that way. I'll be interested in if all the 10s show that sort of sense together. We're going to find out. So we follow the same, no, let's see, they're different. Nope, they're different keywords. So here we have the sphere is. It's that simple sense of being. Here we have the sphere is balanced. So very precariously, but it is balanced. The sphere is elevated. Again, you've got 3 people coming together, and that working together creates the power. So we could see that with the 3 of cups here. So we can see that connection. 4, the sphere is unmoved. So again, we get that sense of stagnation that's here. If it's left alone too long, it will put down roots. So we definitely have 4 in the sense of stagnation, which again is a very Rider-Waite-Smith. It's not something I agree as much in the Rider-Waite-Smith, but you know, it is what it is. Here we have the 5, the sphere denied. So in the 5 of Pentacles, we definitely can see discord, a kind of a taking away is going on here. Life is meant to move and flow, which gets easier when we share. Someone has taken more than they require, causing lack and despair for others. The sphere is shared in the 6 of Pentacles. Look at that. Look at this. What's going on here? Moving energy and resources creates beauty and sweetness in the hearts of others and in the world. So these are out in the cold. You know, you would normally see, obviously, this with the Pentacle, 5 of Pentacles, you know, in the church and being outside of the church. Whereas here we have all this energy is being shared and given, and that's going to create light and growth. Here we have the 7, the sphere yet to come. Sometimes when you're creating it, a certain point is manifesting. There's little to do but wait. It says, consulting wise ones about anything that can be done to support your manifestation. So they're waiting. She's pregnant. There is that sense of waiting and consulting, because that's all you can do right now. Here we have the 8, the sphere entangled. You need patience. He's going to untangle her hair. I quite like that scene of him working on her hair. And you just have to take things slow and steady and one strand at a time. The sphere achieved. I love this card. You've been rewarded. We have that sort of the bird on her shoulder in the traditional standing way here. It's quite wonderful. And then here we have the 10, the sphere integrated. All is well. I'm trying to see. I don't see. Nope, we don't. So I wondered if we would see the dragon and the unicorn and all of that. Although there's some stuff going on in the background I can't see. So here is the unicorn, the gorgeous phoenix, or griffin. I'm sorry, the night griffin. That's a stunning phoenix. I just spoke too soon. And a very powerful dragon for the king. So then we come to what would traditionally be the wands, and it does have a wand over the book. So we do have it there. But it is, I think of books as swords, so I think it's quite interesting, but I love having a whole suit of books. So the book is opened here. Here in the 2, the book is not yet written. Creativity burns within, but you haven't quite written it there. The book is chosen here. But they're sleeping. That's quite interesting. I like that there's a book here. They've chosen the book. They've started to read it, but they haven't completely. I don't know how it's going to end yet because they're taking a nap. This is a beautiful picture. The book is abandoned now. It's easy to get addicted to constant consuming. For now, though, savor the experience without rushing to the next thing. So that's nice. She's kind of walking through the streets and savoring that experience rather than rushing on to another item. So that's wonderful. Here we have the book Attacked. Definitely look at those kind of creepy skull faces all around her. The book connects with the Six of Swords, or Six of Wands, I'm sorry. Messages are a bridge between our world and the world beyond. Listen with different ears and speak with a different voice. There are wonders beyond imagination. Oh, look at this. The book Forgotten. It almost seems like one of these creatures here. Where is it? Or here. One of these creatures here almost looks like now is kind of been taught something and has learned something here. Becoming a servant to an idea can transform you into an automaton. Take a break from your toils and turn to nature. So there's just too much going on here. There's too much enslavement to the idea, and you just come robotic in your creativity and your passions, and it's now time to look to this beautiful daisy. I like that. I like it. Here we have 8, the book Creates. So this is the book's taking form. It's starting to manifest itself. Ooh, look, the robot book. The book Controls. Here, he's fully come into a robot. They've taken on a life of their own, becoming like monsters. Don't let ideas, however good, become your god. Wow. And then the book Compels. When all aspects of yourself are integrated, you can see the whole story from the points of view of all the characters. There's the phoenix there, there's the griffin, there's the unicorn. See, they're all there. I wonder if I just missed them in the... Well, here we have the griffin, or the phoenix up here. Oh, here. I think these way back here are the other creatures, or the courts, but they're very hard to see if that's the case. But you can definitely see them here. Here we have, this is my favorite unicorn so far. Isabel is getting very excited, sorry. Here we have the Griffin of the Night, the Phoenix. Oh, is that the same? I'm surely not. Nope, she looks different. Beautiful. Phoenix, and I love this king. These are definitely I love these. These are gorgeous. Okay. Then we have my lovely sword suit. And so for swords, we have the sword is presented. The sword has 2 sides. I like the 2 faces and the 2 faces here. So there are 2 sides to this, a hard choice. In the 3, the sword weighs heavy. And look, it's almost like he's standing on ice. You think he's standing in the water, but look at the ship is embattled back there. You don't get so much the idea of heartbreak here, but you definitely see the weight of it. The weight of truth it talks about. Here we have the 4 of Swords, which is the sword at rest. Oh, look, the sword refused. We forget that there is no absolute truth. Wow. I don't see wax in his wing. I don't think it's Icarus here. We forget there is no absolute truth. Just because you're presented with a version of truth doesn't mean you have to accept it. You can toss it like garbage, and so if they say you can't fly, you don't have to accept that. You can build yourself wings and fly. I love that. 6, look at, holding fast to a truth can inspire you. In this case, you're in a situation that you want out of. Using your intellect and experience, you will contrive a way, however complex or crazy. I don't really see that in this image. She's throwing the sword away. I don't really see 6 of Swords, to be honest, in that one. Seven of Swords, we have the Secret Sword. An unexpected weapon can defeat an insurmountable. So this giant is coming, and she's got a secret weapon here. She's by doing, you know, something sneaky like we normally see with the Seven of Swords, she has a chance of perhaps winning the battle. Here we have the bound Eight of Swords, the enigma of the swords. It says when there seems to be no solution, the solution can be found in the least obvious place. That is some creature. Very reminiscent of the Universal Fantasy Tarot. Look at this. The Nine of Swords. The sword fails. Clutched in the grasp of thoughts holding you prisoner. Your thoughts are literally holding you prisoner in this. And you've got the wrong sword for this situation. So this is not working here. And then we have the swords work is done. So with the Ten of Swords, we have there is truth and there is truth. No truth is absolute, but some truths spring from and spread pain. Some truths spring from our noblest parts unsullied and clear. Chase after those truths. And again, we have all of the Court here. I quite like this, to be honest, because all the other tens are a sense of cycle completion in a positive way. And so certainly in Marseille, I don't really read the Ten of Swords in a negative. It's a completion of a cycle. And going for your noblest truth in a suit focused on truth, I think I like that. And then we have our Court with the unicorn, the griffin, the beautiful queen, and the king of dragons. I quite like, he's not my favorite dragon, which is too bad for that. I don't like his muzzle. It's kind of funky. Definitely very, you can tell that this artist is here, but she is wonderful. So there we have it. I quite find this to be an interesting deck of some beautiful artwork. Give us a shuffle. I need to zoom back though. I mean, I like Lo Scarabeo cardstock. Let me zoom back out. I can definitely see that this is a deck you would need to have the little white book out with you just to see where it was coming from. I do feel like it follows, other than one or two cards, it follows what it's saying. Like you can follow the structure. It's definitely following a journey on all of them. And I quite like that. But this I think is not going to be an easy one to just pick up, and I think that you need to be probably less worried about Rider-Waite-Smith meanings. I know I did look at it that way because I do like to see how are they falling. Most of it, you can still see the Rider-Waite, I think, there. But there are some changes because it is going about this kind of cycle that's going on in its world. So this has been a look at the Epic Tarot. I think that you can read this quite intuitively, but I think that, you know, to really, I think, get fully things out of this particular deck, you probably do need to kind of follow the journey of the cards and kind of maybe let go of some of the Rider-Waite-Smith and just, you know, really work with the guidebook, which is not always easy because there's not a lot to it. So I think it's kind of a combination of working with the pictures and kind of seeing what the guidebook, which I have to say the Universal Tarot was also like that. And I quite liked that book or that deck was really good for creative things. I just didn't find myself using it a lot, so I passed it on. But this is really beautiful because there's a lot less of the mechanical aspect that was in the other one, where this is much more based on sort of epic fantasy. I love the name changes for the major arcanas too. Look at that. So there you have it. This has been a look at the Lo Scarabeo Epic Tarot by Riccardo Minetti and artwork by Paolo Martinello. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I certainly have, and thank you very much to Miss You Know Who You Are for your wonderful, generous gifts. I really appreciate you passing this on to me and letting me get a chance to see it and see how it reads. And so I'll be interested to see what I do with it. So thank you very much.